Listen, we're live now. That is Puerto Rican slang. I'm sorry that you don't know Puerto Rican slang. Anyway, check 1 2. We're live now. All right.
So
I'm your only Puerto Rican friend, Will. That means I'm the best and the worst.
yeah, exactly.
Will, give me a check 1 2.
Check 1 2, maximum gain.
Okay, and Marcel,
Check 1 2. 7-Eleven.
you're good. Okay,
Whoa.
cool story. Hello, everybody out there in TV land.
Wait. I just heard my echo. Why did I hear my echo?
Uh,
Oh, probably. Okay, never mind. Because I'm on Twitch and I
'Cause you're
heard the echo from Twitch. Gotcha.
Why can't I hear myself? I have the thing open. Oh, thank you for the birthday wishes.
Yeah, Dylan, happy birthday.
Whoop whoop.
What are you, like 24, 5 now?
Oh man, I look terrible for 24. I am 32 today. 32. 32.
Oh, what a baby.
It's a baby. Baby, I feel old as hell. Anyway, my body says something very different.
My body says, you want me.
All right, you ready to do the
Uh,
intro?
Sure. Let me go to the notes. Are you going to be putting the notes up? Because
You could just you literally have 2 screens. Can you not pull up the notes while we talk about it?
it's a lot of work.
It's like, open another window.
All
right, here we go. Ready? Wait, this is what number are we on? 124. Okay. Because of course I don't ever update that right there. There it is. This is episode 124 of the Gold Squad. No, you clicked while I was doing the intro.
Who clicked?
Somebody hit their microphone. Try again. We try it again. This is episode 124 of the Gold Squadron podcast. I'm your host, Dion Morales, and today I'm joined by Marcel, 9-0 with Baby Annie Manzano.
Whee, that's a neat trick.
And William, more like Don't Coo Hegwood.
80-point tractor beam actually does work.
So today we're going to be talking about the new wave release that's coming out in a few days. Comes out on this Friday, September 13th. What number is wave 5? 6? What
5.
number are we on? 5.
5.
All right, we're going to talk about the hyperspace update, which essentially, guys, is all of wave 5. And of course, the big thing that everybody wants to talk about is the new points discussion. We actually had it drop today. Kind of strange, FFG being like, hey, I know that we're still a few days out. Here's the points you guys can get ready to play immediately on Friday. We're going to build some lists, talk about some positive life choices, and if we have time, we're going to hit up our list of the week and the question of the week. But before we go too far, Mrs. Gold Squadron podcast wants to do a thing.
Ooh.
She's saying knock knock. Okay, you want me to hold, she wants me to hold this balloon. All right.
That's key.
I have a balloon and a cupcake.
Aw.
What do I do with this? Do I put it on my face? No. Okay. Anyway, thank you, honey.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. Do I get to eat it now? Like, what? How does this work?
You got to make a wish.
Probably sing to you.
You should sing. Oh, should Will and Marcel sing to me?
Yes.
Oh, you guys gotta.
Okay.
She said
I'm sorry,
so.
listeners, but we're okay.
Hold on. Yeah, let me make that so that they're
Okay,
not covering your
just-
face.
If you're listening to this in the podcast later, just mute it for the next 30
All
seconds.
right, here you can stick your face in. Now.
Um,
Say hi to everybody. Oh, you want me to wear a hat? Okay. Okay. For the viewers, we'll do this. There we go. We did it.
Beautiful.
All right, you gotta count. You gotta count them off. I think they can hear you.
1, 2, 3.
Happy birthday.
You got to go faster. To you.
Happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday,
birthday,
Mr.
Dion.
Quadrant.
Happy birthday. to you.
Mr. President.
They're terrible. Like, I'm so glad I have this on that you can't hear, Devin.
I had no idea.
Dylan, you're the conductor.
Make a wish.
I was waiting for our cues.
You're waiting for a cue. That's not gonna make you better. That's how this works. All right, I'm gonna make a wish. Done. Yay! And I'll eat this. I'll eat this later. I'll eat it later. Thank you.
Oh.
Suck in some of the helium.
Suck it. They want me to suck in some of the helium, but then Vader doesn't float anymore. It's so sad.
All right, it's up to you.
Later episode. There you go. When he's starting to deflate, I'll open the intro with a helium voice. It'll be great.
Okay.
Do I want to keep the hat on? I don't know.
Yeah,
Let's go-
just leave it on.
Just leave it. We're rolling with it.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, I'm gonna
All right. I love you.
love you too. Happy birthday.
Thank you, baby. Anyway. Okay.
Bye, everybody.
Alrighty. I'm distracted. What do we do? We're talking about the new wave. So the new wave releases this weekend or this week, right? Friday.
Friday.
Let's do a quick check just in case you don't know what is coming out. Let's go ahead and flip to here. So the hyperspace update, the brand new ships we got coming out, or not necessarily brand new, but re-release / brand new. We have the TIE V1. So everybody who never got their hands on the Inquisitors, guess what? Here they come, out in force. That's for the Empire. Then the BTL-B Y-wing for the Republic. We have the M3A Interceptor coming out for Scum. We have a re-release of the VCX 100. That's the Ghost with the dockable Phantom 2. And by the way, that is with the new and improved peg. I did order one of these. I ordered just one to really see how awesome that peg is. The Nantex, which we're going to be talking quite a bit about today, and the Jump Master 5000.
How come you didn't say we're going to be talking that much about the fill in the blank? And I think you're going to get it wrong.
BTL-B Y-wing?
Yeah.
Of course we're going to talk about that too.
I
But
know,
I mean,
but
the people want... The discussion really revolves around the Nantex, and we're going to include the BTL-B. I think that's where we have to go. We'll talk equally about it. People who are all about the Y-wing will get there. Don't worry. We got you. Man, Marcel getting like, what about my Y-wing?
Yeah, I need to get me some Y-wing on.
Thank you, honey. So, let's just honestly probably just jump straight into the points discussion, right?
Yeah, points.
So while points were released this week, nothing. Let me be clear here. Points for the brand new ships that have never been in the game before. So that is the Nantex and the BTL-B, and any new cards that come with that have been added to the list. Nothing else has been updated or changed, okay? That's just really important to note. Basically, everything that came in those boxes is now hyperspace legal. No matter what pack they came in or if we had them before, anything that was in that box or in those boxes are now hyperspace legal. So we're going to jump into the first one here, and this is, you know what? For you, Marcel, we'll start with the Y-wing, all right?
Yeah.
BTL-B Y-wing for the Republic. So there's a total of, how many pilots is this? 7 pilots? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 pilots. Let's talk a little bit about the chassis. We talked about it when it first came out. Let's go ahead and just hit it again. What's the shipability on this, Will?
It's plated hull. It says, while you defend, if you are not critically damaged, change 1 crit to a hit. Big disclaimer on this. When you're defending, you modify attacker's dice first. So if they have marksmanship or fan starting computer, you'll still get critted.
Yep. This is
But
just
it does
basically
take away
on the
any
natural roll, right?
Natural crits. Yes, exactly. Which is still pretty good. I mean, that's the majority of the time when you're going to see a crit
But you're also still sad when your opponent rolls 4 crits, because then it just becomes 3.
Yes. So I think it's good, but not great. It's
Right.
an ability. That's good.
Alrighty. Then let's go ahead and just talk about the chassis, the base stats, and actions and stuff like that, Marcel.
Sure. It's 2 attack primary with 1 evade, 5 shield, 5 hull, 3 shields. I think, if I'm not mistaken, it's swapped around a little bit from shields to hull versus the Rebel Y-wing. Or is it the same?
Rebels got 6
6-2,
hull,
right?
3 shields.
No, 6-2, I believe.
Or yeah, 6-2. Sorry, you're right.
Yeah. So I think just based off that alone, they're obviously a step up because shields are greater than hull, and then when you add on top of that they're defensive. You can't crit them while they don't already have a crit to them. Then, well, that's that. Now the other thing that's notable is really nothing different, right? They've got the focus, the target lock, barrel roll, and reload, which are all part of the Rebel version.
There is one difference, and it's on the dial.
On the dial is
You lose out on the 1 banks.
on the bank. Oh, the 1 bank
1 bank
blues.
blues. Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
You also cost 2 more points as well, compared to a Rebel Y-wing.
Mm-hmm. And also, these Y-wings have access, are probably going to be seeing some Force users on them. We won't talk about that yet. We'll get there in a minute when we talk about. I'm excited about the gunner slot for the Republic. I think you got some interesting stuff going on there. But let's not jump too far ahead. So, at initiative 2 and 33 points, we have the Red Squadron Bomber. We get to our first generic here at 34 points, and that's Goji. The ability here reads, while a friendly ship at range 0 to 3 defends, it may roll 1 additional defense dice for each friendly bomb or mine at 0 to 1 of it. 34 points. I mean, 1 point over the generic. I think that's a pretty fair bump there. Initiative is the same, and the ability is really circumstantial. You basically also have to pay for the bombs in your list somewhere for this to work. What do you guys think? Agree? Fair point there?
Yeah. It's actually, so I'm thinking that like the cheapest way you could do it would be like seismic charges and delayed fuses, right? And then you have Goji out front and drops the seismic fuse. So then you have like your real ship, whatever that might be, probably a Jedi, like hang out essentially on top of that seismic charge to essentially get an extra defensive die. I guess. That's 38 points.
Yeah, that would be 38.
Now, I have a question here.
Yeah.
Does cluster mines, do those count as 1 bomb or 3 bombs?
Well,
because they are coming out in that bomb pack.
That counts as a single mine that has 3 pieces.
Gotcha. Yeah. Because I'm looking at this. If you, I mean, going back to the 1.0 days, remember there was that card that you can
minefield mapper.
Yeah, you can preemptively deploy bombs and mines during activation. So you can theoretically, whether you're doing it that route or you're just going around dropping, proximity mines everywhere, nobody's going to run over a proximity mine on purpose. And if you position those, in a certain way, you can basically have kind of like a Han Solo type ability where whenever you're within range 0 to 1 of this, you're getting an extra die. And if you're just in the right spot, you might get 2 extra green dice. But as it stands right now, I don't think the Republic are the best bomb carrier. So I would say I would put this one in the parking lot for let's see what comes next. Yeah, see what comes. It's not completely horrible. Just Republic doesn't have the best mine carriers or bomb carriers at the moment.
Yeah, agreed. Next one, +1 point, still staying at Initiative 2. This is our third Initiative 2 pilot. We got R2D2. At the start of the engagement phase, if there is an enemy ship in your rear arc, gain a calculate token for 1 more point. So now we've added 2 above the generic at Initiative 2. No differences in upgrades or anything yet. The only difference, of course, in the action bar, we switch from focus to calculate.
R2D2 does have different upgrade slots.
He does? Did I miss that?
Yeah, man. He's riding in the droid slot, so he has an open crew.
Oh, snap. You're right.
Mm-hmm.
Lies
You
of
can
the
put C-3PO, you can put Informant, you can put Gonk driving a Y-wing, which doesn't make any sense. But
It's R2D2 doing the driving.
I guess. I mean, is he? I mean,
you have Gonk just like in the
In
in the
seat,
cockpit.
just bouncing
in
around.
the
Gonk,
seat. I
Gonk.
guess, yeah. But probably the most interesting is Chancellor Palpatine, because you can be
Yeah.
out there coordinating with your Y-wing.
With your
Man,
force
that
sensitive.
would be expensive, but let's do it. Why not?
49?
49. It's not horrible. It's coordinating. It's coordinating, and it's also
At Initiative 2, though?
I mean,
that's fine.
you're 7 points cheaper than an ARC doing the same exact thing.
Though I guess, that does automatically make R2D2 into Skippy. You know that, right?
Yeah.
Right? It's a droid with the Force.
Mm-hmm.
Then
Also,
you know what?
you
Just double down. Just double down. Put
Yeah.
Ahsoka in the gunner slot. You got 2 Force now.
It's a lot of force.
But actually, you got 2 force and 2 different coordinates because the Ahsoka doesn't count as a coordinate. So you can double coordinate. You can double action someone.
Seems strong.
Yeah, well, seems expensive, but for 50 points, actually, I actually don't think it's horrible, Will, because okay, it's 49 points.
No,
But if you think about it, okay, it's R2D2 and it's a Y-wing, so it's got a lot of life, so it's gonna live for a while, and it's got Palpatine, so it's got not only are you using it to coordinate, if you're not coordinating or if it's taking shots, you can use it to stress people. That's always good. Or you can use it to, I think the other side that nobody ever uses, just to double action someone.
Have you ever played anybody who actually flipped that Palpatine card?
No, I've never seen the other side of it.
only as a joke, or maybe not a joke, but like only the first time I ever saw somebody fly the Republic, and yeah, they had Darth Sidious and Anakin Skywalker, and it was not good. It was okay, but it wasn't great.
Yeah, I think it's
The stress is actually pretty brutal on that.
Well, I guess it depends on the chassis, right? Like if you have a chassis, if they get something that's like an A-wing, right, where it has just like ridiculous ways to get rid of stress, maybe all of a sudden it can become good.
Yeah, the Anakin he was coordinating had an R4 droid on it.
Okay.
Yeah, I think again now it's getting expensive, but it's also with Chancellor Palpatine. I mean, it could become a pretty good support ship with R2D2, 8 health, Palpatine being defensive, coordinating, and if you put some fleet gunner on there, because R2D2 really is not going to put any damage on anything, given an extra. Basically becoming a Jan Ors of sort out there as well. It's getting pricey, but it's not going to die very fast, and it's going to keep. It's gonna make something hit pretty hard.
All right. So 52-point R2D2. Maybe
58.
Excuse me. I'm literally looking right at the number. It's 58 points. All right, let's continue down here. Then we get to the Initiative 3, and we're matching R2D2's original cost at 35 points. So plus 1 point for a initiative there. Now here's a question: is the point, if you're gonna pay for a Shadow Squadron, is it just better to take R2D2 for the same price, even though you lose an initiative?
I mean, it just depends on if you want to bring an astromech or not.
Yeah, whether you want astromech or crew.
All right. So I mean that's really the decision point, right? That's
Mhm.
the pivot.
Yeah, your initiative shouldn't matter too much at that point.
Now, keep in mind that depending on what you have these guys doing, the R4 astromech at 2 points is, we talk about their dial, but with the R4, their dial becomes better than the A-wings. I mean, it just opens it up.
I mean, not better than the A-wings, just
You know
as,
what I mean.
just
I
as
mean,
good
got
as
pretty
the
good
A-wing.
dial.
Yeah.
I know what you
Man.
mean.
But
But yeah,
it can clear stress then, yes.
well, so
Actually do K turns.
It's not being limited by blues.
here's a question I have for you though: is the R4 Astromech the go-to droid on these Y-wings? Like, is there obviously like people?
Oh no, it's healing for sure.
That's what I
Healing's
was.
one more.
You mean the regen?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of regen on one agility ships actually, so I would say probably not. I would say that the R4P17 is better because you're probably putting some type of ordnance on these things. So just K-turn, target lock, and let her rip.
Maybe. All right.
Yep.
Interesting. Okay, let's keep going here. So this is now. Are we still at initiative 3? Broadside. Yes,
Mhm.
still at initiative 3 here. Broadside. For 1 more point, gives you an ability. You have an elite pilot talent. Says while you perform a turret attack, if your turret indicator is in your left arc or right arc, you may change 1 blank result to a focus result. So this is encouraging you to fly that type of like outside or orbital gunship style, very 1.0 esque.
Mhm.
Just kind of flying on the outside. Ignore me, please. I'm just shooting you from the side. Just let me be. Now, of course, are you putting if you have to put a turret on it? Are you putting a dorsal or an ion? We only have 2 choices. What are we picking?
Ion.
Because of the extra range.
No,
No, it's also sorry. It's also 1 to 2. Excuse me.
It's for the extra dice. If you're bringing this ability, it's going to trigger more often on 3 dice than just 2.
Ion and the damage, baby.
Plus ion's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Choo choo.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it's 41 points. He really doesn't need anything else. I mean,
Especially you're going to be on the
probably-
outs. Go ahead.
Yeah, I guess so. But I think even at that R4 still comes in very handy. So maybe at 43, being able to keep hard turning or K turning when you need to.
Well, I mean, the
Re-engage.
hard turn is white, but I mean, if the whole point of this guy is to be in the side arc,
Mm-hmm.
are you? I mean, the ideal is that your opponent is dealing with the rest of your list while this guy is just kind of being ignored and plinking away. So, do you need to spend the points on the R4 where you could spend those couple points somewhere else?
I guess it depends on what the points are, on what the other points are.
Truth.
yeah, I think I'd rather take like intimidation or a bomb, especially if I'm bringing ion turret.
I like that.
Depending on your list, Commander Cody would be pretty good. I honestly just any gunner. You talked about it before, like any gunner. Commander Cody, hotshot gunner. I know he's only
Ooh.
initiative 3, but if everybody else is lower pilot skill than you, might not be that bad.
No, yep.
I
Hot shotgun
I do like that. What about veteran turret gunner?
I don't.
I don't want
No,
to shoot
because
it.
you're usually shooting from the side only. You're not.
Right, you're not
So you're
doing.
not shooting
You
twice.
don't
Yeah, I don't want to
front
shoot at
left.
2 different targets.
Truth.
I don't want to pay 8 points to miss with my 2 dice primary.
Maybe. Probably.
I think just turret.
Whoa! You just blew my mind, Dion. I totally forgot about veteran turret gunner. While we're on that subject, does Sinker say primary? Sinker does say primary. Never mind.
Roll it back. Roll it back. All right. So we're thinking as of right now, broadside minimum. You slap a turret on it, and if it fits, it works.
Yep.
All right.
That's all it needs.
Matchstick at 43 points. So this is now a base. What was that for? 7-point bump. You gain another initiative and another ability here. It says while you perform a primary turret attack, you may re-roll. Sorry, I said primary turret. Just turret. A primary or turret attack. There you go. I'm just going to reread that again. While you perform a primary or turret attack, you may re-roll 1 attack die for each red token you have. So how am I getting red tokens? What am I doing besides stressing myself?
You got 2 things. Marcel said it before. Was it R4 P17? After you fully execute a red maneuver, you can spend a charge to perform an action even while stressed. So you could barrel roll and get barrel roll while after doing a red maneuver and get 2 stresses. There's also the new droid, old school Chopper. He is 7 points, has 2 charges. Says after you execute a maneuver, you can spend a charge to perform a red evade action even while stressed. He does have a downside though. If once you burn through those 2 charges, you get erratic Chopper, and says after you execute a maneuver, you must choose a ship at range 0 to 1, and it gains a jam token.
Wah, wah.
Sounds awesome.
Yeah, but if you just use the one that lets you take the action, get an extra.
I mean,
Which one is it?
that's
R4 was it? After you
R4,
yeah.
R4 P17.
Yeah, I mean it's a little pricey, but if you do that, basically what you're doing is you're double stressing yourself early and just never lose the stress. Just do the white turns, and you're not taking other actions, but you're basically got double rerolls.
Well,
But-
this could be
but I
like
mean, what?
This could be a reroll and a focus, though.
Yeah.
So here's my question though. But if you're gonna spend points for Matchstick for this ability, and you're just gonna have a reroll, why not just take a focus? Right? Like it. Unless you're
Oh, 'cause
you're investing
the-
points in like veteran turret gunner
Mhm.
and turret, it's not doesn't make sense, not to me, unless I'm missing something.
No, you're right on the nose there. This is your veteran turret gunner carrier, because he can reroll, get basically 3 or 4 modifiers on 2 shots.
Okay. I think more than anything, he's just over. I mean, when you go from broadside to matchstick, I like broadside's ability better, and matchstick is 7 points more. I think matchstick's going to be struggling. Nobody's going to use him.
I think so far out of the ones we've seen, this one might be the weakest
The
one.
worst, yeah. And oddball's pretty bad too, but
Oh, actually, you know what?
he's
Somebody
got initiative 5,
actually
so that
made
helps.
somebody made just a really good point here.
Mm.
Another way to gain a red token. This is in the chat. Thank you, Isofane. I just saw the ping here. Maybe it was somebody else. But your friendly target locks are red tokens as well.
Oh, so 2 different ships could target lock him.
Right.
That is true.
But I'm gonna put a but out there. Now you're using somebody else's target lock that means that person can't use their target lock, right? So I think you have to think about how you're building out your list. So for instance, you don't want to use a ordnance carrier's target lock to target lock matchstick.
Unless you're using like R3.
Oh, there it is.
Where you can
There's
target
some
lock
tech.
multiple people.
Yeah,
So
good
put
point.
R3 on a couple friendlies, and they can target lock him and somebody else. And R3 is pretty inexpensive. I think it's only, what, 3 points? Yeah, 3 points.
R3, yes.
Yeah, it's 3 points. Yeah, so that way you can take advantage of the locks on a friendly and somebody else.
Okay. So all right, so we found some ways to use him. Is he
So
gonna?
I do want to. I'll give a comparison here. By the way, we were talking about his pricing
Uh-huh.
with a dorsal and veteran turret gunner. Matchstick is the same cost as Cavill. Now, Cavill has an additional pilot skill or initiative value at 5 and rolls a 3
Extra
dice
die.
dorsal turret. Sure,
Or
but
4 dice Scion, yeah.
sure, but Matchstick technically rolls more dice as well because he's re-rolling them. So
Well,
maybe not as expensive as we think.
Okay.
Maybe.
I mean, if we believe Cavill's fairly priced, but that's also with like Ketsu and a lot of other things going on.
Right. That's I really like that comparison, Will. That is sometimes looking at it in a vacuum is hard. I like that. Huh. We'll see. I think this now that we remembered, well, I'll say remembered or got pointed out to us the fact that the buddy target locks also count. It could have potential depending on what other turrets we end up seeing, right? As turrets get added, or if you have a way that you don't actually need your target lots out there, or you're maybe investing the points in R3. But I think like there's a point where there's diminishing returns, right? Because you end up having R3 in there. You're paying 3 points to add a reroll to a friendly ship. It's just I just we need some time to figure out the economy. Is it worth it?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like how often is like Rick target locking? How often is Obi-Wan
Well,
or a torrent actually target locking?
True.
True, but yeah. Well, I've got a point, but after we finish through the last
Okay.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right. Next one on the list here, we get to oddball. Was that one more point? Of course I hit
Yeah, it's one more point.
Yeah, one more point for oddball. We get another initiative and another ability here, which I think is the same as his torrent ability, if I'm not mistaken.
And his arc ability.
And his arc ability. After
Stop
you
trying to make oddball a thing.
Yeah, I think that's so. I'll read it and then say I agree. After you execute a red maneuver or perform a red action, if there is an enemy in your bullseye, you may acquire a lock on that ship. So, is the reason we don't see this played is the fact that it's hard to get it done consistently?
Well, the torrent version's way overpriced. Nobody cares about an Initiative 5 torrent. And lining up a bullseye on the arc is borderline impossible, even at Initiative 5.
So I'm gonna
There is
disagree a little bit with the nobody cares about a torrent Initiative 5. Not because they're a torrent, I don't think. Nobody cares about them because they don't have a torpedo slot. Missiles aren't as good as torpedoes. I think an Initiative 5 torpedo carrier carries a little different weight than a Initiative 5 missile carrier.
And there is something
That's fair.
additional that I do need to throw in here. Is the fact that his ability text changed a little bit. He no longer carries the after you fully execute a maneuver. It is now just after you execute a red maneuver.
What?
Yes.
I have to believe that that's a misprint.
You think that's a misprint?
Waitrose. I have to believe that. I'm double checking the card right now.
Let's
Hold on.
double check.
But I will agree with Marcel that like target locking for like a concussion missile isn't the same as like target locking for a like plasma or proton torpedo.
Will, I see Will's research face.
I am researching real hard. trying to find these pictures. In the arc, it says fully execute.
Mm-hmm.
Can confirm.
Oddball says. And even the app says after you execute a maneuver.
Well, isn't that just special then?
Yep.
Well, yeah, do red maneuvers and smash right into people then.
Smash. Give me that target lock. Of course, though, if you're bumping somebody, you can't. I guess you could take a target lock on the person that you're bumping, but you're not actually doing anything with that target lock this turn, and you can't
No.
You also can't K turn on them and do something special. So it's still. I don't know if it's worth it still. Like the ability's interesting. I think it's better now that you don't have to fully execute a maneuver, but
It's not worth it.
all right.
I can save you the time and trouble.
All right. Confirmed. Not worth it. Last but not least. Sorry, go ahead, Will.
I'm just saying it.
Look,
This is one of those.
let me prove to you real quick let me easily prove to you how not worth it is. Okay, put Oddball back on the screen for a second. And this is why none of these ships are worth it. And let's go. So you got it on the screen. Oddball, put a proton torpedo on there.
Proton torpedo.
On Oddball, you got it on there. Now put an R2 astromech on there.
Okay.
All right. Now take Rick Oley and put a proton torpedo and an R2 astromech on it.
Are we building a list now? Is that what
No,
we're doing?
you're just doing a comparison, a point comparison.
Oh, point comparison.
Why it's completely not worth it.
Okay. Naboo.
Naboo, Rick, Regen, and proton torpedo.
And done.
If you want a proton torpedo carrier or a regen proton torpedo, you're gonna save 1 point if you've got regen. You're gonna save 2 points if you're not using regen. Why would you ever take Oddball over Rick? And if you just got him naked,
he's got 8 health.
He's got 8 health, man. And he's got reload. He can shoot a third proton.
Oh my God! Is he gonna live long enough to shoot the first?
Well, you gotta feed him a couple of Jedi so they get shot at instead. I guess.
Yeah. No, I mean this entire. I think the whole Y-wing thing, and when we get to the Anakin and the 60-point Anakin, it's going to be the same thing. Like, would you take Anakin at 60 points or anything else at comparable points? And really, what it comes down to is that the Naboo fighters and the Jedi are just so strong for the points that they bring. Mm-hmm. And then the same thing with the Torrents. The Torrents are that's 2 guns for 50 points. That's 10 points less than what that Oddball is. It's just the Y-wing is not a good. It just doesn't have a home in the Republic. I think these. No,
I think you just pointed out how cheap Rick Olay is. Not how
not only Rick, it's the entire Naboo fighters, and it's also when you do a comparison and look at the at the other Jedi, and if you want to talk about like, oh well, they can, something like R2 can be your coordinator or something like that. Well, so can a regular generic Jedi with the new Force ability that gives them the coordinate. Like there's just I mean the entire ship, the whole chassis, is just not worth the points because the Republic have so many better options.
And an interesting thing being brought in the chat. So it looks like we're getting conflicting information in a couple different places. So sounds like our buddy Krabok, YouTube channel, check him out. He does a lot of gaming things. He got his hand on one of these Y-wings early, and his physical card just says fully execute. But the picture in the FFG official app says fully execute, but the text in the app says just execute.
That's interesting. Yeah, because I don't know how to. I had to be on Twitch. I went to whatever this site is, X-Wing Miniature Second Edition .fandom.com wiki oddball BTL-B Y-wing has a has a picture of it, and it doesn't say fully.
Yeah. So I
So
mean,
that's
we're
very interesting.
all over the place. So maybe at first the FFG card did say fully execute. They realized, wait a second, nobody's using this super awesome ability we made. Let's just drop let's drop the word fully and see what happens. I don't know.
I guess. I mean, stop trying to make oddball a thing.
They really want oddball to be a thing. They really do.
No, I mean, this, his ability is good. It's the initiative of 5. Like,
Yeah.
that's
So-
why you're taking him.
So, Marcel, to go back to your point earlier, we were saying, well, comparing Rick to Oddball, at least for a proton torpedo carrier, maybe you just take both. You take Oddball and Rick if you want 2 Initiative 5 proton torpedo carriers.
Oh man, if only there was an Initiative 6 proton torpedo carrier to put into that Alpha Strike list.
Why not all 3? All right, here we go. Anakin
That's called
Skywalker.
segue.
You guys are killing me. You guys are killing me. Just throw any other Naboo fighter with passive sensors and proton torpedoes.
Oh, they're not shooting at 5 though.
Who cares? They're killing stuff and they're not dying
cares?
at the same turn.
Anyway, let's continue. You gotta help people's hopes and dreams, okay?
Okay,
Marcel?
yeah. Y-wings are gonna be awesome.
They're
Take them to Worlds.
take it to
Please.
Worlds. It'll be fun.
Please,
It'll be-
please, please.
Oh man, you're gonna feel salty if somebody does big with these Y-wings. I'm just saying.
Hey, I'm ready for the salt. I'm ready for the crow.
All right, so
Prove it.
last but not least, Initiative 6, we have Anakin Skywalker, and base cost 60 points. 60 points. So that's a bump of 16 points over the Initiative 5 Oddball. Of course, you get the Force, 3 Force available, and Initiative 6. What do we think of this compared to, actually, for whatever reason, let's see if it let me do it. Earlier, it let me put both Anakin side by side. It did. It does. Here we go. So let's compare the BTL-B Y-wing Anakin to the Delta 7. So the Y-wing's 2 points cheaper. You get more hull and shields, a little more durable, less maneuverable though. Which one, if you have to choose, which one are you taking? Crickets? Crickets?
Who are you asking?
I mean, I'm opening it up to the universe. Whoever wants to answer first.
I'm fighting with Tommy on about which is the best Annie. So let me.
Okay, well, fight. This is your chance. He can't talk on the podcast. You
Well,
can.
We're both agreeing that the best Annie is the Naboo Annie. So none of these two.
Okay, so hold on. Let me get that one out there. All right. Does it let me put it out there? Actually, no. Rathios has that one fixed. He's got to get this other thing
Okay.
fixed. But
Well, that one's at 41 points.
right, and not Initiative 6. So which Initiative 6 Anakin
That's-
do you think is better? I'll restate the question.
I think. Oh God, this is actually it depends on what you want to do with them. If you have if you're trying to alpha, Y-wing is better. If you're trying to just go for longevity, if you're trying to kill stuff and just be aggressive, the Y-wing is better. If you're trying to win games, the Delta 7's better. I guess is the way I would put it. You know what? I'm sounding, as I'm hearing myself talk, I'm sounding a lot like Tyler Tippett.
I think
Why-
some
why-
Tyler definitely did rub off on you. in
Yeah. Why am
Poland.
I sounding like it's my way or the highway? And
Jeez, you win one.
You win-
You win one.
that is not it. That is not it. But it's a 60-point Y-wing. I know it's got 3 Force, but it's a 60-point Y-wing. I don't get. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I wanted it to be expensive. Now that it's expensive, I'm thinking, like, would I actually fly this?
Okay, so this leads, I think, into some of the upgrades that we're going to see that come from this pack. And the first one we need to talk about is the card Foresight. Okay. Wait, what? That doesn't look right. Something's broken. Something's broken. Okay, ignore this. Ignore this stuff. But it's is that right? 4 points? That's not right.
Yeah, 4 points.
Wait,
That
what?
is not a mistake.
4 Oof.
Across the board, 4 points. So foresight, it's
Are you
an
no,
attack
No.
with 2 attack dice in your bullseye, range 1 to 3, has the missile icon, so it does not give you the range 3 bonus or a range 1 bonus. It says after an enemy ship executes a maneuver, you may spend 1 force to perform this attack against it as a bonus attack. And it says attack. You may change 1 eyeball result to a hit result. Your dice cannot be modified otherwise.
Yes.
So here's a question that I saw floating around. I want to hear your guys' opinion on it.
Okay.
This card has a clause about how you can attack this as a bonus attack.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
Can I choose foresight in engagement phase?
After an enemy ship. No.
No, because it has
No,
to be
because
after
it
they
doesn't. It
executed
doesn't.
a maneuver.
It doesn't. It also doesn't say attack on it.
It certainly does say attack on it.
No, I'm saying like compared to like a missile or something like that, where it says like attack target lock. Wait, hold on. We gotta compare this to something else. Let's compare it to what does this look like? Range, attack in bold, attack in bold. This does not have attack in bold.
Yeah, it does.
Oh yes, it does. Attack.
But it is after a big long paragraph of how you can shoot it as a bonus attack. I mean, I don't know the rules. I'm not arguing either way.
Yeah, I would say this is a different version of Snapshot and trying to do it on the other way. I don't see how this can be with that stipulation on there. That's after a ship executes maneuver. That's the trigger of it.
Let's compare it to Snapshot. That's actually just a good idea.
To just take out like
Here we go.
Snapshot says attack. Your dice cannot be modified.
But it doesn't. It doesn't have.
But it also says the same thing. After an enemy ship executes a maneuver, you may perform this attack against it. The other one says after an enemy ship executes a maneuver, you may spend the force to perform that. It's almost the exact same text with the difference of the force versus just attacking. Now, I know we're on the Republic, but I was actually looking at that card with, since it's still like one of the new cards that are coming out with the Inquisitors. And the Inquisitors with that card give you come in at 39 points. So you can get 5 of them with foresight. So getting double shots.
Yeah, but you can only get 4 Jedi Knights to do it in the Republic.
Yeah, that's why I was talking specifically about the Inquisitors, because they can get all 5 in there and still have a couple points to spare. Now, yeah.
I heard that floating around, and you have enough points to make one of them sense.
Well, you have one.
I'm looking at this card over and over again and comparing it to other special weapons. I think you can choose to use it as your regular attack.
That's my question. What is stopping you?
I really think you can.
Okay, so why would you want to?
I mean, I'm not saying you.
Well,
I'm not saying
foresight is actually beneficial because it does have a built-in modifier, and if you're just a non-7B version, you would only have 2 attack dice anyways, so it would actually take away their range bonus and give you a soft mod. Now this is, like I said, if you could attack with it without spending the force, because the force is in the whole movement part of it.
Right.
I don't know. This is an FAQ. This is the rules. Yeah, Illuminati, come save us.
So
I think we're to your point. I think this is I think we're stretching.
Okay, no, this is just going by the way cards are set up, right? So the cost for an attack for something like torpedo specifically torpedoes, missiles, will say something like attack target lock. You must spend, and this after the word attack.
Mm-hmm.
I think the first paragraph in Foresight is just giving you that additional ability of being able to do it after an enemy execute a maneuver. Okay? I'm pretty sure that you can do it with just your normal Jedi attack. And who knows, this could be actually useful on something like Jedi Knights or 7B, not 7B, CLT maybe even Jedi.
Well, we were talking about the Inquisitors. Normally, the Inquisitors only have 2 attack dice. They would take that free modification at range 2 and 3.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know. Like I said, this is definitely like we need an FAQ because I saw this brought up earlier today, and I can't really argue against it. They're like, or for it, you know what I mean? Very interesting.
Here,
We'll have to get an FAQ on that for
stall,
sure.
Stall while I look up the rules reference. I need to see something.
About special attacks?
Yeah, I want to look up special weapons.
All right. Well, we're going to, if you're stalling, and we're already halfway talking about it, I want to talk about Snapshot.
Go for it.
Snapshot.
Snapshot's almost identical, except for it's a talent instead of a force. And it says, oh, by the way, this does have variable point costing. 7 for small, 8 for medium, 9 for large. Because the arc on a large base ship is slightly larger.
And
Anyways, it says, after an enemy ship executes a maneuver, you may perform this attack against it as a bonus attack. This is a range 2 with a missile. With the missile, no range bonuses. So I'm not sure. We discussed it a long time ago, but somebody can get this to range 2 or 3 or something like that.
I think one of the Imperial bombers could.
No, Reimer only does it for missiles
Time-
and torpedoes
time out.
these days.
Time out real quick.
It's a missile.
I
No,
have
it's
our.
not.
It's
It's
not a
not
missile.
a missile. It's a
It has
talent.
missile slot.
No,
All right.
no, that's for its range. Sorry. Anyways,
It's all right.
Dion, go
I
ahead.
have our answer for Foresight. It's right
Okay.
here. I don't know if you guys can see that. So it says special under the heading of special weapons in just the regular rules rule book. It says unlike the primary weapon, the red number and firing attack symbol on the ship card, upgrade cards with the attack header, such as proton torpedoes, are special weapons. A ship can perform an attack with a special weapon instead of using its primary weapon. Period. Done.
So it sounds more and more plausible.
Yes, you can foresight in your normal attack and as a bonus attack.
Which would allow you to shoot snapshot as your primary or as your attack in your engagement.
Yes, but that would be no, because snapshot doesn't have where'd that go? Snapshot doesn't have the arc, range, and attack value on the card, does it?
Yeah, Rathos just doesn't have it in right now.
Okay,
Still working on it.
What does it look like?
At range 2 attack with no range bonuses.
I mean, that'd just be dumb though, wouldn't it? Like,
Well, unless you're
because
a
then
Falcon or you're a contracted scout or any ship that couldn't normally Hawk, any ship that doesn't
a ship
normally
that
shoot out
normally-
of its front.
so you just couldn't roll, you couldn't modify those dice. It's just two.
Whatever.
Okay.
It's a shot, right? Shot's
It's
a shot.
Yep. You're right. Okay.
But it's a 7-point shot, so I mean,
Okay. Yeah. Sorry, guys. I'm just looking at anybody who's listening in the future. I was just looking off of Yasby. It's just the fastest thing when we're casting here.
oh yeah, we
Come
big,
on,
yeah.
Rathios, making me look bad, man.
Rathios was like, he was like apologizing, and it was like 15 minutes after the points went live. I was like, dude, you're fine. Like,
Yeah. You're fine. All right.
I mean, I was waiting for it, but like, you're fine, dude. We very much appreciate your work.
Yeah. Yep. All right. So basically, you can use Snapshot as a much less expensive moldy crow. Significantly worse, but
I mean, that's something there.
As
I think,
multi-curl, you said?
well, as like a front arc for your ship that wouldn't normally have one, like your contracted scouts, Marcel.
They
got
don't have
their-
a APT slot.
Oh, ooh,
Right in the heart. Gah!
Denied. Thank
well,
you, William. The salt. I didn't have to wait for someone to win Worlds to get the salt poured in my wounds.
There you go.
all
All right,
right.
well, let's
Well, they knew you were going to do it, Marcel. They knew you were going to put 3 snapshots on your contracted scouts a year ago.
Yeah.
You would have.
Now, where I do like this, the snapshot, goes back to the old Ricky list that I used to like a lot, which is the Green Squadron pilots with Juke and Snapshot. Move at initiative 3, take your evade, and then just have bunch of arcs pointing with Juke and Snapshot.
Are we talking about rebels or
Rebel.
resistance?
Rebel, because the resistance ones are an extra 3 points for them. So yeah, you can get. So basically, what you can do is you can get 3 of them, 3 Snap Juke A-wings, and then that leaves you 62 points to either take something like you can take Luke at 62 points even, or you can take Wedge with like regen and a crack shot or something like that. Which I think is pretty solid. I mean, it gives you a do not enter zone, especially for aces, which protects your main piece, whether it's Wedge, Luke, or some other 60-ish point ship. And yeah, I mean,
Ooh,
with
like
the
a
ability to evade
Y-wing.
something, yeah, because with this, it just that juke, get the ability to the possibility of getting juke to trigger twice is really good, especially if it's ships that are moving after you. The juke and the snapshot happen before you get to take your action, so unless they have force, they're going to be taking it.
Cool. One last thing I wanted to roll back to the Y-wing versus Delta 7 because we used foresight to jump to snapshot. We're gonna jump back here. I want to take a second and talk about precognitive reflexes versus supernatural reflexes.
Versus advanced sensors.
Sure, but I'm talking about the force right now.
No, I know, but I mean, just as far as what the points versus what it enables.
Right. Okay. So, essentially, precognitive reflexes is advanced sensors light for force users.
Mm-hmm.
Is that right? Is that a good way to look at it?
Yeah, it's a mix between supernatural and advanced sensors. It's a combination of two.
So it says after you reveal your dial, you may spend a force to perform a barrel roll or boost action. Then, if you performed an action you do not have on your action bar, you gain 1 strain token. I guess it does have the potential to give you an action you don't already have, which advanced sensors requires you to have the action already.
Vader likes that.
Yep.
It says if you do, though, just like advanced sensors, you cannot perform another action during your activation. No fine-tuned controls, no full throttles, no perform action step.
No passive sensors.
You can't even.
You can't be
it says
coordinated.
during your activation. You can be coordinated.
Yes. So if you brought a coordinator with Vader, you could like boost and then coordinate him in action and then do all the rest you need.
No, you can't coordinate a boost because he doesn't have boost. But
I'm not saying you coordinate a boost. Yeah. You can coordinate something else.
Yep. You can coordinate the passive sensor and then boost them and get them somewhere else.
You can't coordinate passive sensors.
Oh, then you can coordinate something else.
You coordinate focus target lock. Let him figure it out at 6.
So here's my question though. So with precognitive reflexes being for initiative 6 only 13 points. What is it for advanced sensors? At
10.
Initiative 6?
10.
10 across the board, yeah.
Are we still going to see precognitive reflexes used as much as we saw supernatural?
I
if
would
you
say
can
yes.
just be out of art, right? Because the thing you hear from some players is, well, if I could just not be shot, then something like a strain doesn't matter.
Yeah, I think you're going to see the precognitive on probably 4 different pilots. Luke,
Anakin, yeah,
yeah, Luke, both Anakins, and Darth Vader.
and possibly Kylo.
Yeah, that's fair. I could see
Yeah, because
that.
basically, that's what I was having a conversation with. I forgot who. I don't know if it was you, Will, or somebody else on Messenger earlier about this. And again, they were saying like, well, you lose all your actions and you lose fine tune and you lose all that. Like, yeah, this is, you're not trading all your actions for precog. It's just an ace in the hole. It's um, this is a get out of jail free card. It's there for emergencies. Same thing with advanced
13-point
sensors.
insurance.
Yeah, same thing with advanced sensors. Advanced sensors is there to get you out of an emergency, especially on a ship like a Defender or a Naboo fighter that you miss out on their free actions. You know you're missing out on the free action, but if you know what else misses free actions? A bump. A bump, you lose your actions. So I'd rather just not have the action and end up in the position that's most favorable versus just bump and have nothing.
Well,
So I
I'll
think
give you
with 13 points,
that
it's a
point.
steal.
I'll give you that point, especially because it's less barrel roll. I don't think barrel roll means as much, but that boost, being able to get a 45-degree angle and then do your dial, is a much bigger change. Like even if your dial just says 5 forward, like that's 3 very different places you could be after that 5 forward.
Mm-hmm.
I think we'll see it. I don't know if it. You said it's a get out of jail free card, right? Yeah. That's how you described it. I think that a good player won't need it.
I disagree. I think that any good player will always find themselves throughout a tournament in a place where, whether it's through luck or anything else, like they block your escape, or you're playing against other good players, and if you're playing against other good players with lower initiative ships, they're gonna know how to create kill boxes, and supernatural, advanced sensors, system navigator or whatever that one's called, like those, and slave one, all of those things, that's what they're there for. They're there for you playing against other people that know how to create kill boxes, and you might not even need the best players. You just need a ship with sense and like, oh, this is where you're going to be. I don't need to guess anymore. And now I have a double repositioning ship that can, or if you're doing Annie, I have a triple repositioning ship or double reposition, whatever. You can be anywhere at any time with a lot of these ships now. You just have to be in that vicinity and create a block. So this is an anti-block.
It's interesting. So I think this kind of goes into a point that I want to talk about when we get to Sunfac. I think we've gotten to a point where we might have like a little bit of a triangle going on, right? You have I'm in Initiative 6, and I'm going to take a super bid so I can guarantee that I move last. You have the sense people, right? I'm just going to spend all my points and use sense so I know that you're going. Something like precognitive reflexes gives some flexibility to those who are taking the bid, but then we get to all the crazy stuff that the Nantex can do, and the worry with Sunvac, who we'll get to in a minute. Before we move on to the Nantex, is there anything from anything else from the BTL-B Y-wing that we want to hit?
I think the only other thing that comes in the expansion is just C-3PO crew. I don't know if I don't even know what it does. Let me read it, and let's get a hot take on it. While you defend, if you're calculating, you can reroll 1 defense dice after you perform a calculate action, gain 1 calculate token. I'm unimpressed with it. Mainly because they don't. The Republic doesn't have very good crew members or crew carriers, excuse me, like an Arc or
Seems good on
Wait,
R2D2.
R2D2.
That's
yeah,
it.
it's just R2D2 and Arc. An Arc. I don't know. I'm not impressed with it. Not for 8 points, anyways.
Yep. And then we also had
Otherwise,
the Ahsoka
mhm.
Tano gunner, which I think mostly we're gonna probably see as just an additional force. I know that her ability is more useful than most of the force users, at least like compared to like the rebel ones. But after you execute a maneuver, you may spend 1 force and choose a friendly ship at range 1 to 3 in your firing arc. If you do that, it may perform a red focus action even while stressed. That seems okay, though you're stressing out your ships.
Is there a ship that wants a red focus action? Oh, it's Oddball. There it is. Oddball
Bam.
wants to take red actions.
Assuming that he lined up a bullseye.
Yeah, and then Ahsoka flies next to him. Obviously.
That seems bad. I mean, okay, let's say you're taking Ahsoka 'cause if you want a force point on something, right? Like that's
Sure. Yeah.
Anakin with Ahsoka gives him 4 force. Anakin in the Y-wing.
Well, maybe. I mean,
Just target
yeah.
lock all
Then
day and
I
just
guess. I
fire
guess.
proton torpedoes.
I mean, then what? You fly next to Obi-Wan and give him focus target lock. I guess.
No, you don't even do that. You just have another force for Anakin. It's like, no, this is Anakin's force. I'm his Padawan. Not helping anybody else.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. Wait, can you trigger that multiple times with Anakin then? Yeah. No,
yes.
it's only triggers once.
Are you sure?
Yeah, it says after you may spend one.
you execute, yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
after you execute.
Correct.
All right, so that exhausts everything about the BTL-B. What's our hot take from it? Mine's broadside. Broadside sounds great. Ion cannon, a bomb or two. Sounds great.
I think we'll
that
go for it. Sorry, I cut you off.
my other one was just R2D2 and Palp. Like it sounds great as well. Cheap coordinator.
Marcel,
Um,
hot take.
yeah, just the whole the hot take I think would be just that supernatural wannabe. Other than that, I think everything, the Y-wings are a little expensive.
All right, I think we'll see Anakin out there because people like flying Anakin, and why not with Ahsoka because theme and 4 force. First, is it the first ship that who can get 4 force? No, Maul was
No,
able to get 4, right?
Maul could get 5 with Dooku and Palp crew.
Ridiculous.
I think,
First one for the Republic who can get 4.
That's fair.
All right, so now the one that has been everybody's been wondering about this. All right, we're the Nantex. We'll get to Sunfac in a minute. Let's just go through everything. We start with the Stahl Gissen Hive at 34 points. Every single pilot in this pack has an elite pilot talent, which means all of them can use that very special card Ensnare. Now, Will, explain to the people why is it that Ensnare is scaling with initiative? Because some people aren't getting it. I've seen that like, what? Initiative? Why does this matter?
All right, so we first got to break down the ship before we jump that far ahead because it's the pinpoint tractor array is really what ties this all together.
Yep, that's a ship ability.
So Nantex, the ship stats are 3 in the bullseye, a 2 rotating arc, 3 agility, 4 hull, focus, evade. And the pinpoint tractor array says you cannot rotate your mobile arc to your rear arc, which if you see the model, that makes sense. And after you execute a maneuver, you may gain 1 tractor token to perform a rotate action. Now, you're going to take that tractor token. You yourself, once you receive the tractor token, you made the ability, so you are applying the effect, so you can then boost forward or barrel roll as any other small ship base that gets a tractor token. And then we go into Ensnare. Ensnare says at the end of the activation phase, if you are tractored, you may choose one ship in your mobile arc at range 0 to 1, transfer one tractor token to it. Which is pretty outrageous. They say, I keep hearing the same thing over and over. Automatic tractor applications.
And
Is
then
that what you're...
I mean, yeah, there's that one, but the question is why is it important?
Oh, why does it scale? Sorry, I
Why
got
does it scale with
distracted.
initiative? It's okay. All
Oh,
the things you
because...
said were correct.
Okay. Well, it's so the reason it scales with initiative is that your it goes 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 16, 24. And the reason it upticks at 5 and 6 is because at 5 and 6 you're going to be moving last, and you're going to know who's at range 0 to 1 in your mobile arc after people have moved. So it's going to be easier to apply ensnare at that higher initiative when you rotate your arc to get them in range 0 to 1.
It's that perfect information text.
Yeah, exactly. How about... Yeah, it's very interesting, to say the least.
All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at a couple of the other pilots here. So that was Initiative 3. Then we get to...
So
go ahead, Marcel. You have something to say before I
Yeah.
continue?
So one thing that I was wondering, again, going back just to trying to figure out like little glitches in the system, similar to the static veins thing that I was doing with the jump masters, where one on one side of the board shoots, takes an ion, then passes that off to another one, passes it off. Does a chain effect until it gets to the ship that I wanted to have an ion.
Mm.
Even if you're doing the low initiative one and you're covering a wide net, you can theoretically take ensnare with only one of them, and then at the end of activation, pass the tractor beam to the next one, you would be able to reposition and switch the arc, pass the tractor to the other one, reposition, and basically domino your way to getting the ship that you want tractored anyway.
No, because the only way to pass the tractor is with ensnare.
Yeah, and then that's what I'm talking about. You put ensnare, like if you have 4 ships with ensnare, they can do that. You can choose
Oh yeah,
to...
you can move it all around. Yes.
Yeah, you can pass it around, and you can basically reposition the ships that you want to reposition, and at the end of activation have all 4 ships be able to reposition and end up repositioning one of your ships, because those barrel roll boosts, range 1 bubbles are actually pretty big.
Yeah. I think it could be interesting. One of the things that you're going to have to plan for, though, which I think some people are simplifying in their mind, is the fact that you have to plan for the rotate. Because when you do the pinpoint tractor array, you must rotate the arc if you're taking that tractor. It's not optional. It says it right there. You cannot rotate your to the back, and after you execute a maneuver, and then this is all together. You may gain one tractor to perform the rotate. So.
Yep, and you have to rotate. When you do a rotate action, you must move it to a new arc.
Yep.
You cannot have it on the same arc. The people were trying to do that with Han Gunner and Dash in the very beginning of 2nd edition. That's not allowed.
Yep. And there's no other way to rotate that arc at all on this ship. That doesn't have a rotate action.
Yeah, the only way to do it is after you execute a maneuver.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go ahead and take a look at some of the other pilots here. We get to Gorgle, who's Initiative 2, at 36 points. Says, during the system phase, you may gain a disarm token and choose a friendly ship at range 1 to 2. If you do, it gains 1 tractor token, then repairs one of its face-up ship trait damage cards. Seems interesting, but kind of complicated to get some healing in there.
I don't understand this ability at all. I obviously understand what those words mean, but I don't like fixing a ship to give it a tractor. Um, I don't understand. That doesn't seem helpful, and unless it's like another Nantex. But like, I don't know. I will be very interested to see people's Gorgle list because I don't. I'm thinking vultures right away for some reason, and I'm not giving my vultures a tractor token.
You want to you want to one shot my vultures even easier.
Well, yeah,
There
he's
you
already
go.
hurt, so now it has to at least have 2 health and 1 agility. I guess.
No, it seems I don't know. I don't see the appeal of this pilot. He's cheap. He's the cheapest out of them all.
Well, I would say he's probably the scenario if you get lucky or unlucky enough for it to trigger is if you have to if you get that critical that lowers your agility.
Oh,
And then that way you fix that and you have lower agility for 1 turn and then you're back to normal. I mean,
yeah, it just doesn't because the Boba Labs have the impervium plating, so they already have a way to prevent ship crits. You're not doing it for the vulture because it's not worth your time to
They're
fix
cheap,
the
yeah.
vulture. Let it go explode. Who cares? I guess hyenas and Sith infiltrators are the only thing. I guess you could do it on a Sith infiltrator like Dooku's banged up for some reason. I don't know. I don't understand it.
Yeah. I mean, maybe.
Yeah.
it's
Like,
just
why
weird.
did they print this ability? Please give me an example of FG of where I should be using this.
I think they're just looking for other ways to get tractor tokens. I mean, maybe it works with we haven't hit this one yet, but Gravatic Deflection. It says while you defend, you may re-roll 1 defense dice for each tractor chip in your attack arc. So you're like making buddies.
Oh, okay. So this is so that's Gorgle's. But he takes weapons disabled though. Well, I guess. So you're defensive, and I don't know.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't know. I don't think it's good. It seems strange.
All right. Well, it seems like we've exhausted that one.
Yeah. Maybe you put that on another ship, maybe like a Sith infiltrator. Do
Sure.
they have EPTs? And you're like, oh, all you guys are defensive or all tractored. My enemy definitely won't shoot you, you tractored ships. I know it seems strange, but at least you protect yourself. I'm curious to see how that.
The
gets
disarm
used.
token's the worst part about this. I
Right.
don't see why you and the ship you're helping needs to be penalized. It's ridiculous. I mean, I guess you could fly away and like it won't matter, but I don't know. We'll see.
All right, well, let's keep going here. We get to Initiative 4 at 38 points, which is a couple points more than the currently useless Gorgle. Then we get to another name ship here. We have Chair Trek.
The Arena Ace is the first one with double talent as well.
Yes, Arena Ace. 2 talents. Okay, so you're putting 2 talents in here. Is it Ensnare and the Gravatic Deflection so that all the people that you're ensnaring have a harder time hitting you?
I mean, the Arena Ace is the last time that Ensnare only costs 10 points. So, yeah.
No, because Chertek also gets it at 10 points.
Well, Initiative 4 is I guess what I mean about that. I guess. I don't know.
Chertek is also Initiative 4.
Oh, that's fair. That's fair.
Ensnare.
All right,
So how much
what's
does that cost
Churchek's
you?
ability then?
All right. Churchek's ability is while you perform a primary attack, if the defender is tractored, you may re-roll up to 2 attack dice. That seems good.
And that's only 1 point more than the Petronov.
This is the good version of Gorgle, right?
Yeah, an actual ability. Yes.
Like this one seems like.
Well, the reroll is huge because they don't have target lock. They only have focus and evade. And
Right.
honestly, I'm evading probably as my main action all the time on these things. They seem so flimsy. You're trying to tractor yourself and you only got 4 hull. But yeah, the rear. So you basically had to put in snare on him. I always had to put in snare on all of these guys. Is that what you? Is this your opinion as well?
I mean, it seems to be like the reason you bring it, the ship. What do you
That's
think,
fair.
Marcel? Is ensnare staple to these guys?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, at the regular point cost,
I mean, they are dirt cheap without ensnare.
yeah, they are pretty cheap without ensnare. 38, looking at the very generic 34 points, they get a 3 arc. I mean, a 3-die bullseye plus a rotating arc. That's not bad. And then 3 agility and 4 hull. Compare that to let's say an A-wing. They have 1 more arc. They have the potential of rolling 1 more attack die. They have no shields, but they have the same amount of total health and agility. No repositioning. I think that's what hurts them the most. They can't reposition without tractoring themselves.
Well,
I
that's why
think-
you take ensnare, right?
Yeah,
So,
yeah. Because
I mean,
there is absolutely 0 repositioning without it.
Like, I know we were mentioning that these guys are really cheap without ensnare and gravatic deflection, but it seems like these 2 EPTs are the things that will allow these ships to actually do damage and be a little bit more defensive when you have those double talents. I don't know what else you're taking in there because you're not going to take. I mean, what are you going to take?
It's snapshot
Okay.
or juke. Maybe lone wolf. It's about your only options.
All right.
As far as
And it's important to note though that with the Nantex, there's not going to be you're not going to be able to snapshot people while giving them tractors. Like that doesn't work. It's because that's the other way around. It's important because I'm sure somebody out there is like, oh, I can ensnare somebody and then snapshot them. No, because snapshot happens after you execute a maneuver, and ensnare is at the end of activation after everybody's moved. So just a note there.
yeah. And
anyway-
if you're always evading, maybe just juke.
Yeah. I mean,
But
I don't think you're
terrible.
always evading though.
that's fair. I will say that outmaneuver doesn't work because they don't have a front arc. They can't shoot a front arc. Trick shot's interesting because I mean they do have a turret. They have a range 3 turret as well. We're used to those. We were talking about dorsals and ion turrets.
You
Yeah.
could put
They're
you can put outmaneuver and snapshot. That works. It's horrible, but it works.
that sounds really unlikely to
that's
happen.
a lot of
but-
points spent for nothing.
I didn't say it was good. It's
just
playing
true.
devil's advocate. Like
I
you could make
will-
outmaneuver work.
I will stand corrected. You are right on that. They can get a front arc attack in snapshot.
That was
I will-
sure.
I will not die on that hill. I agree. Someone brought up an interesting thing. Now, while we're on the topic here, we're just taking a small tangent about talent slots because that's the only slot these guys have outside of quick builds. Is the talent or double talent slot. Somebody brought up intimidation.
Okay.
Which I want to point out that ensnare happens to say 0 to 1, which means you could, in theory, with Chertek here or the Arena Ace, imagine you moved your mobile arc to the front, we'll say, got it in the front. You blocked somebody, and then you ensnare them, but you don't move them. So they're still touching you. Now they're down to agility.
And that's for 54 points with the arena.
51 if you're using the Penetrani Ace.
54.
I mean, that's a scary blocker.
54 if you're using the.
You should never bring the ace.
You
should always
got
bring
outmaneuver on
Chertek.
there.
Oh,
It'd be-
I grabbed the wrong one. Sorry, ensnare
Yeah.
and intimidation. My bad.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Yeah, you should always be running Chertek before you run the Arena Ace because it's one more point.
What if I don't have one more point, Will?
Well, then you're running an ace. I'll give you that. But this, I don't know if that's practical at 54 points for a ridiculous blocker, but man, -2 agility. You're gonna need that person. Better have precognitive reflexes because they need to
Get out
not
the
get blocked.
way. Get out of the
Oof.
way.
Anyways, I think that's really it. Like, man, there is not very many options. I mean, Predator and Crackshot's interesting because they have the bullseye weapon,
Right.
but the other one's Treacherous, which you can like hide behind vultures, I guess. But then you're not ensnaring people though, because it's going to be hard to be range 1 of somebody, I guess, unless the vulture blocked them, and you're like right behind that vulture.
Another point here raised in the chat, good to point this out, is that, again, pinpoint tractor array does not say fully execute. It is just execute a maneuver. So that means you
That
can
is
just
true. You
slam
can-
into somebody and still do all the things.
Well, you rotate your arc to the left, and then you barrel roll right, and then you shoot at them. Well, then you ensnare them, and then you shoot at them.
Yeah, when you ensnare them, you make them push forward, so they push past you and then shoot. Yeah.
Yep.
Seems good.
It's a little dirty.
it-
I mean,
I mean, it's good. I mean, it is good if you think about it. Just point the arc towards the front, and or point the arc. Yeah, I think you just point the arc to the front, and that way you just when you move, you move in the direction either left or right. I don't know. I think it'll be it's a kind of gimmicky and it relies on too many variables.
yeah, I think the pinpoint tractor. We still got 2 more pilots to talk about.
Yep.
But I will say that it's going to be hard to keep up the pinpoint tractor once we were talking about the Y-wings, the broadside, the pivoting around, you know what I mean? Doing kind of like the circling somebody, how like old Shadowcasters used to do, or any turret basically. But it's going to be difficult to get them back into your front so you can rotate your mobile arc to the front again. I think that I think it's going to be much harder in application than I think we're visualizing in our head sims.
I agree. Well, let's go ahead and get to our last couple pilots here. We have Burwer Kret, also two elite talent slots. It says, after you perform an attack that hits each friendly ship with calculate on its action bar and a lock on the defender, may perform a red calculate action. So 40 points. It doesn't carry a tactical relay. Is there any reason to bring this guy? Like, I don't see it.
I have a list for this dude. I was trying
I have one too.
I'll tell you mine first.
Okay, I mean, they have DRK droids in it, right? Obviously.
Yeah, it's a pretty simple list. I have
All right, let
Kret.
me make a new tab. Give me a second.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Well, it's not that fancy.
All
right. So I got
Nant.
Brewer Kret, and he's got Snapshot because his ability doesn't reference primary.
Okay, snapshot.
Snapshot. I got a Hyena Bomber with Dark Probe droids.
Okay.
And 6 vultures. How's it look? I can't see your screen. You got 8 points left?
8 points.
There you go. So with Snapshot,
Grab some shells.
I mean,
one
I
of 'em.
guess one shell. So with this, we can launch the probe droids out, and normally with probe droids, you have to wait until the 3rd round, if that makes sense. You launch it the first, you target lock the second, and then you try to engage on the 3rd round with target lock and calculate. With Brewer, Brewer, I don't know. You don't have to wait till the 3rd round. You can do it on the 2nd round. You just charge right at them, launch the probe droids, fly them straight at the enemy. Everybody comes up and target locks, and then you you just hope in a prayer that Brewer Kretz snapshot hits, so everybody can take red red calculate actions.
It'd be a shame if you missed your attack.
Well, all right, Marcel, what do you got for me? What
right.
what are you thinking about this?
Sure. All right. So instead of, I actually got ensnare on him.
Okay.
All right. So let me go to the tab where you're on. Okay. So I've got ensnare on him. I also had the, I don't have snapshot. I have the hyena, the cheapest hyena
Okay.
with the the drones
Okay.
and concussion missile.
Okay.
All right. And then just do a copy of that guy and bump him up to a to Bactoid. How many more points is Bactoid than? Then
Base cost?
yeah,
He's two more. There are 2 more points. No more initiative. So, but you can only get 2 of them though.
okay, yeah, that's good. So and then you put 3 Trade Federation drones with energy shells. So that's what I was thinking. So it's similar to what William was saying as far as you need one.
That doesn't fit.
It should be 99.
It's just 1 Bactoid, not 2.
Yeah, only 1 Bactoid.
So you got ensnare, 2 concussions, and 3 energy shells.
Got it. I had the
Yeah,
wrong
and it should be
So
at
you're
199.
Isn't this almost like what you faced in the finals?
Yeah,
except
but
for it wasn't Grievous.
Instead of Grievous, you got him, and basically what this allows is if somebody comes at, basically if you're flying against the probe droids, you can do a couple different things. You can try to range control it and kill, which is what I did against him in the round 6 from Saturday. I killed the probe droid before he was able to target lock, or you come at him where he has to choose. I'm going to target lock you, but I'm also going to engage without a calculate. So I'll have the target locks, but not the calculate. This one gives you the option, especially with the tractor beam and the snare, it gives you the option to be able to, again, if you land the shot, that's the if portion of it. But it lets you have a calculate and the target lock in the same round versus having to like stick in your corner and hope they're not bum rushing you. So
I just
and then at the end of it, you've got you end up with five missiles, and against a tractored ship.
I'm just worried about you're still relying to get the double modifications, that first attack hitting, and just. I mean, I guess you have the tractor
The
out there.
ensnare, with the ensnare,
that raises your chances. Okay.
and even if they're flying initiative 6 something, they're gonna have something on their list that isn't. For the most part, they're gonna have some. You're going to be able to, especially if you're coming in there pretty strong. Usually you'll be able to tractor beam something. And even if you miss the shot and they're not getting their double modded shots and they're only getting 1 mod, well, they're shooting a tractored target anyway.
Okay.
Marcel, I only got 1 critique for this.
What's that?
Your Bactoid needs diamond boron missiles.
It wouldn't let me put it in. I don't know why not.
Because you need 2 missile slots. You got to be the Bactoid.
Oh, okay. That's why you take the Bactoid. Okay, I agree. I was trying to put it on the Techno, and it wouldn't let me put it.
Yeah, because you need 2 missiles. Just a PSA for everybody listening. Technically, diamond boron missiles are the only missile who can do 4 damage. 3 dice, and you spend the extra charge to make them roll the dice as well. Because it's 0 to 1 of the defender.
So yeah, I know that happened in that game.
It's very good. They're very, very good. If you got 2 missile slots, you better be slapping diamond boron missiles on there. There's a reason they're unique. I'll tell you that much. They saw playtesting worked on that one.
No, I agree, but yeah. So I like this list again. It has the potential. It has good alpha strike potential.
All right, and then let's go ahead and talk about the last Nantex, the one that everybody's worried about, and that is Sunfac. All right, so Sunfac's ability reads: while you perform a primary attack, if the defender is tractored, roll one additional attack die. So that means in the bullseye, you could get up to 5 die attack. And in the turret, you got 4. This is initiative 6, so it is the ace of the separatists. Now, people were crying "whoa" when we first started seeing this, and I wanted to do a bit of a comparison before we go too far. I did prepare something I wanted to talk about here. Let me go ahead.
Marcel already rage quit about it.
So I want to talk about points wise. Okay, so I have here this chart. I know those of you who are listening at home can't see it. I will read it for you guys. We have an Initiative 6 comparison chart. So Sunfac is Initiative 6, and here in the game currently, we have a total of 14 ships, including Sunfac, that are Initiative 6. I'm pretty sure I didn't forget anybody. And Sunfac is what is that? The 5th cheapest one. So we have Quick Draw at 45. Fenrau in the Rebels 52, Sunterfell at 53, Han at 54, and then Sunfac also at 54. It continues after that and shows the rest. But with that, he is the 5th least expensive one. But
Yeah, I think this is flawed just because
you're not letting me
some of
finish.
these.
Let me
Let him
finish,
Marcel.
Man.
You paused. You paused.
No, I was giving it for dramatic effect.
You can't pause around Marcel. You
Yeah,
can't.
It's a
pause, that's
dramatic
fine.
effect.
All right.
Now, what I was going to say, which I'm almost 99% sure he was going to go this way, is of course these pilots aren't built naked. Okay? They're not built naked. So let's go ahead and flip over to the comparison chart with most of the time, their point costs in their usual builds or common builds. So now you end up with Sunfac no longer being, the 5th out of 14, cheapest of the Initiative 6. He ends up jumping all the way, if you're putting just ensnare on him, to 78 points because of the scaling point cost of that, which then bumps him up all the way to the 10th most expensive Initiative 6 that you can put out on the board with the usual kind of sort of loadouts. Is that where you were going, Marcel?
Yep.
Okay.
I
Thank you.
think
Thank you.
I was going a little bit softer. You put extra upgrades on there, but yeah, for the most part.
Okay. So that my point here being that while the base cost looks cheap, I know some people were a little bit worried about it. Sunfac, I think when you compare it to where it sits in Initiative 6, and especially those Initiative 6s that are actually played, I think he's in a good spot.
Really?
I do.
Really? I got some strong opinions on Sunfac.
Okay.
And the first one is exactly what you guys heard. The first question, the first discussion topic is unless you have a very goofy squad, meaning that you have like a tractor beam or you have other Nantex in there, you can't run Sunfac naked because his ability requires enemies to be tractored.
Right.
So you have to bring a way to tractor beam your enemies. They probably won't be doing it themselves. Unless somehow you're fighting a Grogog. What's his name? Grogog? Unless you're fighting a Grogog swarm, they're not
Gorgle.
tractor beam.
Gorgle.
Gorgle. They're probably not tractor beaming themselves. So I think that it's very strange to me because he's not. That 54 is very deceptive. That is not his actual cost at all. And my other thing is, so what you still got that list up? Yeah, I think Sunfac compares to both Soontir and Fen Rao and the Fang Fighter.
Mm-hmm.
But all right, so let's compare Fen Rao and Soontir for a second. Very similar chassis, right? Very similar abilities where they can link actions off of one another. They have, good dials, things like that, right?
Right.
But Fen Rao, you pay those extra points to get the extra dice at range 1 and for the Concord Dawn.
Right.
Okay.
And you're at 68 points. So I just left him naked. Like, he doesn't need anything.
I mean, fearless for fun, sure, but yes, him and Soontir really don't need anything. They could probably
Right.
use Crackshot or Predator or something like that, but some sort of offensive EBT. But Sun Fact, there's no T, doesn't have any of those defensive abilities that Fen Rao has, nor does he have the double repositioning that Soontir or a Poe has.
Right.
And so that it blows me away that he is 78 points. I understand how powerful Ensnare is.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that it's range 0 to 1 means that it's gonna, and you have to tractor beam yourself, which means you have to rotate your arc. Which means I believe, and like I said, my head sims haven't put it on the table. Maybe I'll eat some crow later on, but I believe that it's going to be near impossible to do it every round. Your opponent's going to have to essentially let you do that, right? And my how I broke down Sun Fact is that if you're just tractor beaming yourself to reposition, okay, and to get a shot, if you're not getting Ensnare, you're shooting a 2 dice turret on 2 agility on 4 health. That sounds like a Z with a dorsal turret to me. And I'm not paying 78 points for a Z with a dorsal. I'll tell you that much right now. So it's, well, I honestly don't understand why it's so expensive. But
So I think Sunfac is a piece of tech. Like, he doesn't seem very well rounded, right? So one of the lists,
not at all.
one of the lists that I know some people are hitting it in the chat, and I wanted to talk about here, is that if you compare it to the list that you flew this weekend, William,
Oh yeah,
the XY's list, right?
There is a very good reason why I was flying that list, because I wanted to see what tractor beams could do with 6 vultures.
Right. So
Go ahead.
So Sunfac with just Ensnare, you're able to fit in there 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 vultures, and you still have 8 points left over to season.
Sure.
Now, do you think the Dooku version is better? I mean, obviously this flies differently, right? Because Sunfac needs to be in your face in order to actually work.
Sure.
Right? So the tractor beam is maybe in situations a little bit easier to get off because you're going to be in somebody's face. You know where they're going to be if you're in initiative 6, and you can pass it off. But at the same time, he's only 4 health, and most likely you're going to be losing Sunfac before maybe sooner than Dooku. And then can Dooku endgame better than Sunfac? I think he can.
In my experience, like I said, you brought up the exactly. I was literally doing it for a comparison. Obviously, I thought XY's list was very interesting, and I wanted to see it on the table. And it flew very well, especially in a 75-minute tournament round. But in that list, everybody except for Marcel, who I more or less kind of gave you Dooku on the flank, but I'm obviously I had major work for it. But nobody else even bothered with Dooku right away. They shot at vultures. Until their only shot was Dooku. Like nobody cared about Dooku right away, especially when I was tractor beaming and wasn't even doing damage with them. But you bring in Sun Fac. Sun Fac's going to be priority target numero uno. They're going to fly straight. They're going to ignore 6 vultures shooting at them range 1 and put every gun they have onto Sun Fac. So it's going to fly 100% different. Total 180 of what's going on there.
Not only that, with not only the survivability, but you also get the choice of shooting a primary and not just tractoring. With Sunfac, you're also getting if you're tractoring only with Dooku, you're basically throwing that shot away. So in this case, you're doing if you have them with ensnare, you're doing a 3-die or 4 or 5, depending on where you're located relative to the ship you're shooting at. So you're getting your initiative 6 shot, then you're getting all your droid shooting at it as well. The difference is that with Dooku is like you said, your end game ship, right? If they're gonna kill droids and you got Dooku at the end, you're doing okay for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
That one is coming up in the rear. It's shooting from the back, and the droids are leading the charge. In order for Sunfac to be effective, he's got to be. I mean, he's got to be.
He's got to be in there. He's got to be leading that charge.
Yeah, he's got to be William Wallace in there, like freedom, on the front, because he's got to be at
dude. I don't want him up there.
Yeah, he's got to be at range 1 in order to trigger his ability, or range 2, and then boost. Get himself to range 1. So that means he's leading the charge. I don't know if you want to take your 80-point ship to be not only the juiciest target, but leading the charge gun ho. Again, I keep thinking all these movies. Now I'm thinking into Glory, like Glory with Matthew Broderick. I'm in the front.
So
I'm gonna climb this hill.
Well, see, I mean, it's going to be a different flight pattern. You're going to have to hide Sun Fact in like the rocks for a little bit, maybe set up some vultures on some landing struts and kind of just wait for your opponent to come in, and then you kind of spring the Sun Fact trap. Whereas the Dooku and vultures, they just straight joust stuff.
Yeah.
It's
I'm
like,
coming
I
for you.
didn't care,
I'm
whatever.
coming.
I brought 6 because I planned on losing 1. So that's the other thing is that Dooku's doing range 3 tractor beaming, which is like I said, very, very different. I don't know. I want to put Sun Fact on the board. I don't understand with that pricing. It's gonna be interesting.
Now here is my closing thought and point I want to talk about is if Sunfac becomes like the thing that everybody's playing, he becomes the meta. Do we just see mediums and large base ships come to prominence? You're like, you know what? Screw your Sunfac. I don't care. I'll take 1 tractor. I brought a decimator. I don't got agility anyway. Doesn't matter.
I mean, actually, honestly, any turret is going to be good against these Nantex because you don't have to engage them at range 1 or 2. You can hang out. You can rotate out at range 3. The Nantex's biggest enemy is going to be Han Solo's, honestly. Like, you're not going to be able to, you can't tractor beam them. Where you're going to try to fly through the rocks to chase them because you can't reposition. And he's boosting.
Yep.
It's going to be a bad time.
Yeah. I think on top of that is that Sunfac, he'll have good matchups. He's going to have good matchups. So against 2 or 3 or even 4 ship builds, and even builds that are kind of hard to pin down, he's going to be able to reposition himself and tractor and do all his shenanigans. However, once you start getting into sinker swarms, 5 ships build, TIE swarms, the 5 TIE SFs, with the passive sensors or just the optic ones, at that point you don't have a double reposition. And if you tractor beam 1, congratulations, you tractor beam 1, you still have 4, 5, 6 other ships shooting at you, and we know where you're going to be because you're not repositioning really that much. I think Sunfac's gonna melt anytime he faces any of the 4 or 5 plus ship lists.
Yep.
Mega Silver is bringing up. There's a heated debate going on about what.
That's
You
I
read.
can just solve that right now. It's very easy because a lot of confused people right here. A ship is tractored, excuse me, while it has a number of tractor tokens relative to its size. So you're not
There you
considered
go.
tractored. So small ship needs 1 to be considered tractored, 2 for medium ship to be considered tractored, and 3 for a large ship to be considered tractored. Guess what our first quick tips after the world tour will be? What does it mean to be tractored? All right.
That's fair.
And that's it
That's
right there.
fair.
So
Yep.
it's important. And yes, the
But-
tractor ability, like the -1 agility, still works if you're a large ship. You know that, like, but the tractored specifically is the key word for being movable and having this keyword assigned to you.
So you're talking about bringing medium and large base ships. I forget who is compiling the data on it. There's a lot of people who do it, but looking at the cuts in the most even last weekend and the last the Australia and Nova,
Mm-hmm.
except for I think Lambda. Yeah, there's 2 Lambdas in the top 4. Every other ship was a small base ship.
Yep.
Except for in Australia, there was Dooku in the top 4.
Yeah.
What other medium or large base was in the top 4?
A lambda.
Lambda.
That's
Okay. That makes a lot of sense. Probably
Yeah.
Jendon or Psy, one of those 2. So,
Yep.
like the majority of in my opinion, the majority of lists right now are primarily small base ships.
That's true in the ones that are being successful and making it to the end. But
And then there's
you know,
then there's Han, right? Like that's
yeah,
another
there's
one that
Han.
pops
But
up.
also, I was going to say that you also get, you have to get past the rounds 1, 2, and 3, where you're not getting medalists. You're just getting whatever somebody threw on the board. Somebody decided to bring, and that's where you get all of the Tyrannis and you get the Bobas and you get all kinds of
Republic arcs are pretty popular.
yeah,
Either 2 or 3 of them in a list.
Or
Very
4.
popular right
Yeah.
now. You can get 4
So,
arcs. I
yeah,
guess
you
you
can
could.
get 4
Yeah.
arcs, then you
They're
can
only
get them with
42 points.
you can get them with a lot of goodies.
So they're out there, but it'll be interesting. I don't know.
Yeah, you know what? If
We'll have to find out.
moral of the story: if you're trying to tractor someone, play Scum. Go with Ketsu. Get a quad jumper. Much cheaper. Well, not Ketsu. Much more effective, or much cheaper, one or the other. But you can tractor people and you can do fun stuff.
So, absolutely. And one of the last points I wanted to bring up about Sunfac and this chassis in general, while it does have the possibility to pull off some really powerful things, yes, if you're flying Sunterfell, Sunfac can make you so sad in this one moment. But because of all the ways we talked about that it doesn't work, we talked about how, it can't continuously, you can't tractor yourself and point at the same direction. It's also going to have to be, the leading the charge if it's with a swarm and things like this. Like, because of the difficulties surrounding the ability and the chassis itself, I think that the pricing is fair because there's going to be situations where, Sunfac's going to dunk on a Sunterfell. But there's going to be times where a Sunfac absolutely gets obliterated and does nothing for its cost. Because it's really the value of those points is really going to be dependent on the situation, which I think is a good sign for the game itself because it's not so cheap where you're like, we're not saying why not fly Sunfac. It's, hey, it's situational, which I think is good.
I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Um, and it's completely off topic, but I
Great.
just saw something that
Perfection. Right as I
Yeah,
was about to wrap the show. Just
no,
throw
we
it
got
out there.
time.
I c-
We,
I c-
we still got 2 minutes of your birthday. So you had Anakin at 91 points on a Y-wing. What do you have on him to get him to 91?
I was. This was what did I have on there?
I'm just
Man.
wondering, like, how do you get 60 to 90? That's 31 points worth of upgrade. It's like
You
what
had,
did
you had a
get on?
Ahsoka and a turret and
Ye-
proton.
Yeah, I think it was.
Oh no,
it
you
was
had
thick,
you had
thick boy.
precognitive.
Yeah,
Yeah, because I would throw Annie at 73, probably.
So I went off of a couple builds, like the people being super excited about Anakin, like, oh,
Well, too excited.
let me throw torpedoes and all this stuff on him. Like, there's a lot of
What
different.
was what
what
was
did-
the stuff?
Man, you're making me go back and do the work.
I'm
I
just
already did.
asking you,
Oh,
man. So
yeah,
I
like,
assume
kinda-
I
That's
assume it's
fine.
precognitive.
Yes, it was precognitive. Hashtag show your work. Okay. Precognitive. What did I have on here?
Probably Ahsoka, Gunner?
I had Ahsoka and a Proton. Nope, that's 98.
Oh, wow.
What did I have?
Yep.
I had, was it
Just those three is 98.
Was it a regen droid?
That's not a bad idea.
This is awkward. No,
Well,
97.
yeah.
I don't know. I don't
it
know
was
what
too
I did.
expensive. It's almost as expensive as the.
I
Dash
literally
Render I wanna fly
cannot-
tomorrow.
I literally cannot
Create 91.
recreate 91. I don't know what I did. It was
Yeah,
a thing.
are you trusting a 90.1 agility ship?
It's Anakin Skywalker. He can do whatever he wants.
William,
I mean, he can boost before he moves, so I'll give him that.
William. Tomorrow I've got 160.2 agility ship. So
I got to build a list. We got to
Okay.
we got to end this podcast so I can actually put ships together to play.
well,
All right. All right. Well, is there anything else you want to cover?
So, I mean, we're running late. We're already at
I know.
like
But
past 2 hours.
This is exciting actual content, though.
It is.
it?
It is. But I'm tired.
That's fair.
So, yeah, I'm excited to see what Wave 5 brings. I want to see what new. It's interesting that there's going to be players who are the new to second edition who haven't had access to things like the M3A and the Ghost and all this, that we might see it make a splash in extended and hyperspace. We still have some hyperspace trials left. I want to see how those ships that a lot of us first edition players had already, how are those going to get reintroduced? Are we going to all of a sudden see, M3As take over? Are the taps going to be the new hyperspace meta? Is the Ghost going to be back in force making people sad? We don't know. But, yeah. Something. And things. All right. Well, I wanted to thank you guys so much. I know that we didn't have time today for List of the Week and Question of the Week and Positive Life Choices, but trust me, we're thinking about all those things. Hopefully, y'all are doing well, and we will get back on the consistency train here pretty soon. By the way, I do have to mention that all the super duper plans for Worlds are starting to come together. I got my official yes from my second person that I needed in order for things to really start falling in place. I'm super excited. Oh man, Worlds is gonna be.
Are you gonna name drop this person?
No.
No.
Like I want to make sure everything's like 1,000% put together.
Oh, that's fair. That's fair. I was just making sure.
Like I'll tell you off the air, right?
Oh, of course.
Off the
well,
air.
I already know that you're riding up with somebody, so I can assume.
Right. So things. I love the misdirections. All right. But anyway, thank you so much for listening and watching, everybody at home. I'm going to enjoy the last few minutes of my birthday. I'm going to go eat my cupcake and watch some Netflix and just relax, take a nap, put a list together, and get ready to play X-Wing. Again, we have our weekly streams. We got the Paintcast every Monday and Thursday. We have our podcast Tuesday night. Wednesday, we have League Night. Sunday nights we have Echo Base doing their thing, breaking down some games, and of course, when we have events on the weekends, you guys know that's Saturday, Sunday, or Friday, Saturday, Sunday. When's their next event? That's something that a lot of people have been asking me. Right now, the next thing in the calendar is Worlds. Okay, will there be stuff before Worlds? Probably, but right now I'm trying to enjoy my couple weeks of not traveling, and then we'll get going. I promise we got way more content coming, and plus I gotta get this. The thing I want to pull off for Worlds requires a lot of preparation and testing, because a lot of things have worked, but have they all worked together? Trust me, when we pull it off, this is going to be the single greatest X-wing stream of all time. Really, it's gonna be.
No pressure.
No, yeah, I'm putting it on myself. It's gonna be amazing. I think it's gonna be amazing. Okay, but thank you so much, guys. For everybody here at Gold Squadron, we love you. Thank you for the birthday wishes. Gold Squadron out.